Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. Nice long one to reset. It's January 18th, Tuesday, first trading day of the week. We're going to talk about some technical analysis, some options, Gamestop, BBIG, SPY, my Tesla position. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. We have Twitter you can follow us on. That's not it, but it's at Happy Money YT. We also have a Discord server with a link in the description. Welcome to jump on there. I've been logged in on there. Cool. Anyways, yeah, long weekend. Some weekends are more boring than others. This weekend, I was anticipating more downside, but today was pretty legit. Open to close, I think it won't be crazy. Maybe 5%, 4%. Big range though. We were down, I think, 11% at one point on GameStop. I have position in BBIG, scaled out some, actually scaled out totally here today, and bought back in. I'll go over that. I kind of legged in and out of options. TA on it still looks good. I mean, it's overbought. I'm kind of thinking I want to not be so strict on my RSI for entry and exit, because I've missed plays that way. But before, if it's overbought or oversold, I try not to open a position. But I think I'm going to hold heavier weight on my other indicators, MACD, price action, support and resistance, and maybe let the RSI kind of do what it wants. So anyways, that's what I done this BBI play initially when I got in back here. It was overbought, but could still keep rallying. It almost was setting up a divergence, but then on the hourly here on BBIG, which would mean a bearish, but it didn't. It still looks very bullish. I mean, the gap up, but it just kind of consolidated and kind of just pinching tighter, staying above VWAP today, really holding up nicely. So that's why I went back long on it. Took some profits, went back long. I figured this $5 would kind of be a resistance. I had an alert for here. Like we were saying, I think my next spot would probably be filling in this gap up to 586. Probably so $6. I'll just go by the dollar figures at this point. If it hits 6, probably consolidate there. Might blow through it. If it does, hard to know where it's going to slow down. 6.5. I mean, it's got gaps all the way up to 940. So this is a small gap up here. This 953. But I mean, this thing has momentum. It has volume. On the daily now, it is overbought. It's not making the move like it did back here. Back here is a couple of days somewhat good, and then like pretty good gap, huge day, huge gap, sold off, and then just tons of volatility, opening down here, closing up here, opening here. So this is hard to kind of trade options in, at least for me, just because the premiums are crazy. Maybe selling premiums, I don't know, but because the momentum, the move, there's not much move there, unless if you bought options back here for this date. Coming through here, the option premiums are just swinging like crazy. So we're still earlier on in that if it does keep rallying, but it's possible it could have just a big gap up like it did here. So I don't just have any long calls on it though, which is really the best way to capture massive moves. But we do have exposure. We'll go over it. GameStop, on the other hand, coming down. I mean, the market's actually really down today. BBIG is kind of an outlier. SPY was down 2% at one point. Now it's down 1.5%. Stayed below VWAP. On the hourly, let's see here, kind of no, it's not an RSI divergence, still bearish, right under the 9, kind of just this bounce back on the hourly, back up to VWAP, back up to that 9 moving average a bit. Kind of broke through this support to this 458, down here at 455, so I expect further downside. Remember how we were saying making higher lows, so this could be that higher low from back here before it kind of starts an uptrend. We'll see. If it comes down here, I mean, if it keeps coming, just see if it tests that support, or if it kind of makes a higher support, and then it'll probably rally up again. In the longer time frame, it did kind of make this head and shoulders here, shoulder, head. So it could fill that gap and make cross over that support, maybe make this support toast and just keep coming down. We'll see. It's getting a little stretched out here on the daily though. Might want to rally back up to the 9 moving average a bit. But yeah, that's a SPY. GameStop, okay, so the RSI, this is the lowest the RSI has been in 2 years on the daily. It's bounced pretty good today, pretty big range. Opened up here at 114, came all the way down to 104, so $10 to the downside. Now we're back up to 110. Really what matters is open to close, what it opened at, what it closes at. They'll shake people in and out with intraday moves, but down probably about 5% today. Might come back down to VWAP before close. But on that daily RSI, this is basically, we haven't seen it this low. It's 28 today, and today's close will probably stay around 28. But if you look back, I mean, all these lows, it never got to 28. These were in the 30s. It didn't do this since January of 2020, right here, where it hit 24. The price was $4. I was actually looking back at this chart here. It's kind of interesting. It could be similar what we're doing here. I don't think so, but it's kind of fun to compare it at any rate. So if you look at the daily, look at, oh, that's just G. Look at GME on the daily, and then look at this one on the daily. Let's see, that daily, yeah. There's January. So you can kind of see together we had this high and then a little lower high, this high, a little lower high. Oh, I just got filled on GME. Okay, cool. And then it kind of gapped down and then consolidated, lower high, kind of this gap down, consolidation. This wasn't really a gap, just grinding, but consolidation that's coming down to that very low. And that might be right here. So, or no, right here, sorry, and then a lower low. So the RSI doesn't necessarily mean that's the cheapest it's going to be. It's not how it works. It has to do with just relative strength. So basically how quickly it gets there. If it gets there too quickly, it's going to stretch out the RSI. So even though the RSI was really low here back in January of 2020, we still made lower lows. It bounced to consolidate to bring the RSI up, but then made lower lows. And then bounced again to bring the RSI back up, and then made lower lows. But really this was just widening out this range pretty big. So even though the RSI is super low right now on GME, it doesn't mean it can't come lower. But in the shorter term, if it does come, well, it's kind of bouncing already. But if it does come lower, it's not going to be much before it has kind of a bounce to consolidate. And probably bring it back up to this kind of 9 moving average area. I'm thinking we're probably, I still think we're probably in this range right here. This kind of consolidation rally a little bit was, or no, I'm sorry, right here. Long sell-off for weeks and weeks, which was this. And then kind of this bounce consolidation, green MACD, and then new lows. So long sell-off, bounce consolidation, green MACD, and then new lows. So if it is kind of following this pattern right here, I don't think we'll be coming much lower. We'll really just have to wait for the momentum to shift like it did back here. This momentum shifted and then it made a low, shifted bullish, and it made a low, which was a higher low. So we'll kind of look for that here. After a bounce, if it kind of just keeps melting off, we'll just see if it makes a lower low. So I think it could still come down lower. Could see, I don't know, 95. Yeah, kind of the 100. I mean, the 100 is going to be a big psychological level. 90, it looks like, then 92. If we do make it all the way down to the 50 range as final support, which I think is a final support, it's going to take time. We're going to need to bounce before it, unless of course there's just a big, like massive market sell-off, like almost a little crash. And if that happens, then possible GME might get volatile to the downside. Short term though, here it's bouncing up. Hourly still bearish. This isn't a divergence, but it's just bouncing to smooth that RSI out to get us back in the middle. Our options. So history today. So here's the GME or the BBIG. I had 350 calls. I just sold one. I don't know what we made. We made a few $100s. Wasn't a big position. And then I legged into 2 of them. So I shorted the $6 call, received I think like $100 credit, and then rode that around for a while BBIG was rallying up and down. And it basically stayed pretty flat, actually. I sold it about here before this spike. If I sold it after this spike, I would have actually done better. But I held it through there, and then I actually closed out of it here. So it was basically a debit spread once I legged into it. Closed it out here for a gain, and then just reopened right about here. Reopened a put broken wing. Never done a put broken wing. I'll show you guys what it is. GME, sold the close, about to cover. Oh, this was our bearish play on GME. Made, I don't know, a few hundred on that, 500 or 600 maybe. It was like 70-80%. I did sell it too early though, because GME just sold off so heavy. But since it was a debit spread, I could have held it. I don't really need the volatility because the short leg of it kind of negates the long. So could have held it longer, but I didn't. I sold it here, no big deal. Didn't go long for this, but I did just actually get filled on back on a bearish position up here. I saw it fill. Opened up BB calls, BlackBerry. What do we get? 950 calls for 950 calls for next. Ooh, what is it? Close to the money. 950 calls for January 28th, so next Friday. BB has moved with the basket of shorted stocks. On the hourly, we've got bullish MACD. Got green over the 9, kind of a weird bull flag there. The daily looks good too. We've got bullish MACD. Not as strong on the daily. Green over the 9 hasn't really happened, but this increasing MACD kind of bottoms looks good, as well as the RSI. It's not a divergence necessarily, but just it increasing and getting closer to this equilibrium on the MACD looks nice. I like that. And then of course it has previous price action history, so we'll see on that. We'll go over that put wing. Okay, and then I just opened up a 95-110 put debit spread on GME, which I'll have to figure out where it is in here. And then we have our SPY play and our big Tesla play, both bearish. This BBIG play, I don't even quite understand it, but this is what the graph looks like. Break even on it is $5.10, and max profit on it will be at $7.50. So if it gets that high, I'm just going to sell it at that point. And if it goes past that, it kind of loses value, but still doing well. Well, there it is right there. You can see what it is. But I like that. I looked at the option strats, and that's how I found it. Max loss on it wasn't much at all for the upside. And then, yeah, then you actually receive a credit to open it up, I believe. It's kind of interesting. So it's this one right here. So shorting 2 750 puts, going long 9 puts, and long or one 9 put and 1 4.5 put. And this is what the chart looks like for that BBIG. And then Gamestop, I just opened. I think Gamestop will probably keep coming down. I mean, there's not a whole lot of room left for it to come down, just because it's so oversold. But it could come down a little more before it kind of has a good bounce consolidation. We'll see. But I did open up another bearish play on it, just because everything's still bearish on it. It's just a little oversold, and it's very possible it could rally and fill this gap by close or tomorrow. Maybe might open up here, rally it open, and then maybe keep coming down. So might have been early on it, but I did 95-110 put debit spread, which I actually need to find. I hate how, okay, 95-110, so I'm gonna group it. This is what I have to do. I have to group it. All right, I'll do this later. Whatever. Tesla, I need Tesla to come down to a 990. This is my play I need to get out of. Tons of capital is being held up, and margin requirements on this. If I can get out of this by Friday, I'll probably be getting more GME shares in this account. I mean, Tesla's charts, it's kind of bearish. It could definitely still work out. We've got a big red candle here, which is nice. Bearish MACD. Kind of slowing down the momentum today, though. Kind of hanging out in that range. On the hourly, it looks like it's really consolidating. Hopefully before more down move, which is kind of what I'm thinking. I just need to come right down here. On the daily chart, it doesn't look too bad. Need that by Friday. Yikes. All right. That's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Discord. It's in the description. Have a good afternoon. Peace out.